Do you think that this plant needs some work on it? I do. Hi, I'm Elise, and I'm glad that you could stop by. This is the miracle leaf plant, also called cathedral bells, air plant, life plant, miracle leaf. Now, there is a miracle berry plant that is completely different, so don't get them confused. This is Kalanchoe pinnata. Perhaps it is. I'm not 100% sure. Now, I know it's a Kalanchoe in that genus. This specific variety, I'm not sure. I've been growing this for decades. And this one originally came from Hawaii. All the internet sources say it's going to be covered with babies all along the margin of the leaves. All the years that I have been growing this, I have never seen a baby on the margins of the leaf on a growing plant. Now yes, if the plant breaks off, drops to the ground, then you can get babies. But I've never seen babies on the margins. Now, I have several other Kalanchoe plants that do produce babies all along the margins of the leaf. So if you know the correct variety of this, I'd love to know. Now, it's a fleshy succulent. It's perennial, tropical, subtropical, but it makes great house plants. I'm in zone 9B. All of mine grow outside, and they do fantastic. Native to Madagascar. 120, 130, 140 varieties depending upon what you read. Now, I'm not even going to begin to go into all the miracle applications that are supposed to work for this plant. Please do your own research anytime it is medicinal or edible properties of a plant. So all I'm going to do is come in here and trim this up some. And where this was touching the ground, it has developed a root system. So I popped it off. I can plant that, or I can cut it up more. So that's going to lay over to the side for just a moment. It needs to be repotted really bad. There's hardly any soil left. The roots are exposed, but it's still putting out lots of growth. Isn't that neat? Each one of these stems I can cut off and make a new plant, which is probably what I'm going to do. I'll probably go in and cut it back and leave maybe 3 or 4 inches of stem. And you know what? It's going to grow back again from this existing root. Just fill the pot up with soil. That's it. Now, I'm in zone 9B. All of mine grow in shade. Not really deep shade, but dapple shade. They can tolerate a little sun. Too much sun and these nice fleshy leaves will burn. And then if you have them in pots, you know to move them. I've never grown them as houseplants, so I can't help you there. So this is what I am going to do. Just going to go in, snip these off. One year I grew some in a hanging planter. Really neat. And what happened after they got pretty big, they looked like a candelabra. You know, the kind that has the big arms that go out. Well, kind of like the octopus ride at the county fairs. And that's what it did. It was really neat. I think I'll leave that one there. And it set blooms. Beautiful, huge inflorescent or plume of blooms. I'll drop a picture in. And the bloom was arced over on that arm and then came straight back up. Really, really neat. Well, that looks a lot better just like that. So I'll come back in. I am going to go ahead and take it out of the pot, even though I'll use the same pot. But that way I can reset the roots, and I'll fill it up with soil and bring the whole plant up to the level of the pot. That easy. For these, I'll just put each one in their own little pot. That's all. I might trim them up, make them a little shorter. When I start planting them, I'll see. That's how easy that was. Now, the real reason I wanted to make this video, somebody asked me, well, how do I propagate the miracle leaf plant? So I did a few little experiments. Let me share with you. These are basic cuttings. They're doing fine. Let me see if I can get one pulled up and look at the root system without hurting it. So it has roots at the bottom, and where this part was touching the top of the soil, it rooted also. They all didn't root. Although that one does have roots, maybe I'll save that. And this one looks kind of sad, but it does have new growth. And there's all different sizes in here, and they all did pretty good. So, you can propagate the miracle leaf from cuttings. Next, I just took some of the leaves, I put them in a cup of water. That's all. Just to see what they would do. They also set babies and copious amounts of roots. Isn't that neat? So you can water root your leaves. Just be very careful. These are tender water plants at this stage. When you transplant them out, you'll want to make sure they stay really moist. And to transplant them out, take you a pair of scissors, a knife, your fingers, and just take the plant off and plant it like you would any little seedling. I'm not planting all these, folks, because honestly there's just too many. Again, I did the experiment just to see all the different ways to propagate the plant. So that's number 2. Water root the leaf. All right. Number 3. Water root the stem. And this one was kind of interesting. This is the bottom. Underwater, it grew flowers. So for this one, I would just go ahead and cut most of this off and just snug that in some soil very lightly. They all didn't work, but here's some roots, here's some babies coming, and this one happened to be in the air. All right, so number 3 is water rooting bare stems. Number 4, I put it in a container with the lid sealed. Look at all the little plants. Again, you would just take it off, and it got more roots coming. Snug that in. Keep it moist, especially in the beginning, and keep them all in the shade. So that's number 4. Water root your leaf in a container. I did open this one because it was really looking sad and I wanted to see what's going on. This one is the wet paper towel method, where you wrap the leaves in a damp paper towel and you put them in a baggie. And I do seal my baggies. And yes, they did make little plants. Again, you would just pinch them off the leaf. Probably what I would do is leave them on the leaf and let them harden off a little bit outside of the bag. They'll grow some more, they'll harden off. Okay. Same way with this, I would take it out of the water and let it harden off for a while. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The best is yet to come. So let me move these out of the way. Now I did not take a leaf and just put the leaf down in soil. I forgot about it. I'm sure it'll work though. All right, let me move this over. It's a little heavy. This was how I was taught to do it years ago. You just take a leaf, you lay the leaf down, cover it up a little bit, and set it in the shade. Basically leave it alone. Look at all the new little plants. This version, and of course, just putting the stems in soil, produced the healthiest looking plants. All of this was done at the same time. Now these plants are much larger and much sturdier looking than this 4. This is fine. It did really well. Now some of the leaves I turned up and some of the leaves I turned down. Did not seem to make a bit of difference. So these are nice looking. Let's see what's going on here. Nice little root systems. Again, you can just take the leaf, tear it apart, cut it apart, plant that out. That's how easy it is. Again, I've never seen this particular variety grow bubbles, boobles, whatever you want to call them, or plantlets, babies, offshoots, offspring, along the margin edge of the leaf, unless the leaf was down in the ground. But that's how easy it is. So we have 6 different ways to propagate your miracle leaf. So what am I going to do with all these? Well, all these bigger ones I'm going to plant out. I've had requests from some friends who want some plants. And what I will do is I'll put several little plantlets in each pot. And it will make a nice thick pot for them. So it really won't take much to go ahead and be able to use all these plants. Neat, huh? Very easy. So if you order the leaves offline, as soon as you get them, just put them in some soil, lightly, halfway, cover them up. I don't spend a lot of time worrying about it. As long as the leaves are touching the soil, the edges of the leaves are touching the soil somewhere, or making contact with the soil somewhere. That's all you need. Now some folks go through and they toothpick it in, they wire it in, whatever that you want to do. I laid mine in and I just sprinkled some soil and I watered it. And I'm really surprised this many came up, considering I had to redo this twice because the squirrels got in and dug all the leaves up. But it works. And you get these beautiful little, perfect little plants. 6 different ways to propagate your miracle leaf. So now you have several options that you can choose from to propagate your miracle leaf. And until we speak again, have a fantastic day.